am Sailor Moon! And this is my cosplay. So happy with how this cosplay turned out. This one though was the most work I've ever put into a cosplay, and it was also so expensive. Let me give you the rundown of this complete Sailor Moon cosplay. Starting with the beautiful wig. So initially I had purchased like a $28 Sailor Moon wig on Amazon. And I wore this thing one time before actually doing the cosplay. The day I was going to film my cosplay, I pulled this wig out and I tried to brush it and it would not brush. It was just falling apart and I was miserable. And then I did Dragon Ball instead, and I did Bulma because Sailor Moon just crashed in that moment. I then found a $200 wig that was custom made on Etsy by a lady in Italy. And this is that wig. But with all my wigs, even this $200 wig did not solve all of my problems. This wig was such a challenge. For starters, when I first got the wig, it was great, but it quickly got very knotted, very tangled, and I couldn't brush this wig. I wanted to work with this wig and not just scrap it. So I was like, no, we're gonna restore this wig and we're filming Sailor Moon today. Precisely today. So I got out a bucket of water, my conditioner, and I had to buy a brand new brush because it was pulling out the brush from my other brush, and it was a nightmare. And then as I continued to brush and pull the wig, I actually ended up pulling an entire pigtail, I think it's this side, but I don't exactly remember, completely off the wig. It was frightening. Here I was, my $200 wig just completely falling apart. I couldn't brush it, and it was getting worse and worse by the second. But I took my time with it, and I separated strands, and I was washing it with conditioner and water, and I was brushing it out bit by bit, and I did this for both of the pigtails. I did have to chop off the bottoms. That did the little curly thing, unfortunately. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't have been able to brush the wig because that part had been stylized, so there was heat on it. So it was actually causing a lot of the clumping to happen. So I restored the wig, but it was not easy, and I definitely lost, I want to say, about an inch to the bottoms of the wig. Completely worth it though. I reattached the pigtail, I gelled the bangs so that I can separate the bits, and it is so much better. Next on the list, this entire costume has so many pieces to it, which made this costume very expensive. This dress came with these gloves, it came with necklace and the tiara. However, the tiara and the necklace I ended up purchasing separately because the photos of what they looked like in the complete costume Amazon store listing just looked awful. So I ended up purchasing these separately, and I'm so glad I did, because the tiara that came in, not only was it very thick and wide. I wanted something a little bit more narrow, so it's a little bit more dainty and feminine. The red piece actually completely came off the tiara in the mail, so that wasn't fun, and the necklace was really bad. This one is so much better. Two additional pieces that I purchased separately include these pieces right here, as well as her earrings. And for the earrings, I had to DIY them because they were for pierced ears. I don't have pierced ears. I've tried to pierce my ears so many times and I just can't get a hole to stay no matter what. My body just completely rejects foreign objects in my ears. So what I did was I purchased these pieces and attached the earrings to them that are clip-ons. So that worked out for me extremely nicely and it wasn't difficult at all to do. It's a little bulky, but I'll take it. Another piece of the cosplay that I purchased separately is this locket right here. And I did lots of DIY work to get it situated right here. It's not completely centered, so that's one thing that I wish I did a little bit better. But essentially I had to remove the circle that came with this dress and then attach it with a hot glue gun. It was a lot of work, it was very messy, but I'm really happy with the results. Aside from the fact that it's not completely centered, I'll take it. I did want a detachable one, and I did try to use magnetic strips to attach and detach. The problem is that this piece is actually quite heavy. As you can tell, it likes to tilt itself downward a lot. It's just really heavy. And the magnetic strips did not hold this piece to my dress. The last piece of this cosplay that I purchased separately were the boots. They're authentic Sailor Moon boots. They have the moon on them. They're great, I love them, and they're pretty high quality, so I'm happy with that. Two more purchases that I could not say no to. Wands. These wands were so expensive. This one was like $200. This one was like, I want to say like at least $50-ish. So I splurged a lot. But you know what? It's worth it because Sailor Moon is my passion project. So I don't care the cost. I wanted to live out my Sailor Moon fantasy. These magnetic eyelashes and the eyeliner I also purchased premeditatively for my Sailor Moon cosplay because I know that Serena Sailor Moon has some really long eyelashes, so I couldn't go without. But yes, this is my Sailor Moon cosplay and I had so much fun creating it. Aside from some frustrations and some disappointments, I think everything ended up working out pretty nicely. So without further ado, let's get right into the photo shoot for you babes to check out some of these really cool, fantastic cosplay photos that I did cosplaying as Sailor Moon. My Neo Queen Serenity cosplay. And as pretty as it looks, it doesn't feel pretty to wear. Maybe I'm more like Usagi than I give myself credit, but wearing this cosplay makes me feel extremely awkward. It's really hard to shuffle between doors. I really hope that Neo Queen Serenity had really wide doors and openings at her palace because it's really hard to get through with smaller openings. It's also incredibly hard to walk in this gown, and using the bathroom is an incredibly difficult procedure. So as always with my cosplays, this costume wasn't the easiest to get working correctly, but it wasn't as difficult as I initially thought it was going to be, maybe because of my growing experience doing cosplays and also having the right tools on hand. But this cosplay did require some DIY work in order for it to look like this. So let's start out talking about the back bow, which might not look exactly like the cosplay. I tried my best. It has a wire mesh to hold it up and give it some angles and some curves. But the wired mesh is really difficult to maneuver, and also to get these wings to stay upright like they're supposed to is not very easy. So I kind of just gave up and let them hang a little lower than they're supposed to. As with a lot of cosplays that I get, this was made a little cheaply. And I say that because these designs did fall off quite quickly. So I did end up hot gluing some of these pieces back on so that they would stay. I know they were initially sewed onto the dress, but hot gluing was a little bit of a rush job for myself to be able to get them to stick on where they're supposed to go. However, the part that I could not neglect was the fact that the dress kept falling down. It would fall completely off my chest if I let it. And it still requires a little bit of wiggling to keep it upright. But the fix I had worked pretty amazing, and I did this also for Elisa's dress because it had the same problem. And that was this clear string right here, and I utilized this to feed this transparent string, which is also stretchy, through each part. I did need help to do this because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to get the back part, and I'd have to be wearing the dress so that I could get the exact measurements for how long I needed the string to be so that it was fitted and tight. Also for the wings, thank God I keep safety pins when I get them because I needed 2 additional safety pins. The safety pin that came with the wings to attach them to the dress was poorly made and it came off very easily. This is what came with the dress, and I don't know if you can see, but this part right here has a really wide opening. I mean, if you look at a traditional safety pin, the hole is quite fitted for the pin. This one is huge, and this is what I was given to hold the wings on. It's a single safety pin. I ended up using 2 safety pins that were a little bit bigger than this one. I want to say they were more closely sized to this one, and I got help with that, of course, to get the wings to stay on securely because this one ended up coming off really easily. The last 2 things that I needed to DIY for this cosplay was the moon that you can see on the forehead right here, and that one I actually used eyeshadow and a thin brush to get the shape of the moon, fill it in with a yellow, golden yellow eyeshadow color, and then I had some glitter that was kind of brush on glitter, so I used that to kind of give it a little bit of a glitter-esque look. I did contemplate using eyeliner to get the outline, but because it's not perfect, and because I would also have to do another line with, say, eyeliner, which also might be too thick, I didn't want to risk it, so I decided I wasn't going to do that, and I think this looks a little bit more, I don't know, it doesn't stand out as much as eyeliner would pop it out, but I'm happy with how it looks, and I think it turned out pretty okay. It was hand-drawn, and I didn't have any shapes or anything to set the shape. I did think about it, but I decided to just freehand it, and I'm so glad that it ended up working out just fine. And the other piece were these earrings right here. Well, they're not earrings, they're actually pasty stickers, like face jam stickers, but they were the closest that I could get to earrings other than using actual earrings, which my ears are not pierced. So outside of all of the DIY work that I did do for this cosplay, this cosplay came with the dress, which was one purchase. The wings came with the dress, and the tiara was a second purchase. I got this off of Etsy. I couldn't find it anywhere else. There were multiple options. This one doesn't look exactly like the tiara, but I think it looked the closest. It was not cheap. I'm pretty sure it was over $100. So Neo Queen Serenity wrapped up my Sailor Moon cosplay filming. I'm so happy with how this one turned out, even though it's really hard to maneuver around in. I really like this outfit, I really like this cosplay, and I think I did a pretty okay job with it. Let me know in the comment section down below which of these 3 cosplays that you liked the most. Personally, it's a really hard choice for me. I don't know which one I would say is my favorite out of the 3. Well, without further ado, let me show you some professional photos that I took as Neo Queen Serenity for this cosplay.
There's no time to shame if you just a dream. You're gonna wake up
Well, I hope you babes enjoyed this cosplay video. I had so much fun filming it. I had so much fun cosplaying as Serena, Sailor Moon, and Neo Queen Serenity, and I hope you babes did too. So wait, don't go anywhere. Don't you go anywhere, because I'm gonna need you babes to go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below, turning on that notification button so you don't miss a single one of my cosplay videos to come in the near future. Super excited. And don't forget, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok for so much behind the scenes content and more cosplay fun by your favorite cosplayer, Miss Mila Rose. Bye for now, until next time. I am Sailor Moon, champion of justice, and I will